The Terran Empire's defiance. A tall group of extraterrestrial elites who controlled the galaxy with an iron grasp were assembled by the Galactic Council. Because creatures that had evolved under various stars felt superior to them, Earth was no longer a curiosity, rather than a fresh addition to their collection of conquered worlds. Their diplomats, strategists, and fleet commanders observed the advancements made by humanity with a certain amount of amusement. But the Council had destroyed many more developed societies before, so to them, this was just another regular imposition of their will. They made the quick choice to demand tribute, an incredible amount of resources and military surrender. The reasoning seems straightforward. Given humanity's recent advancements rendered them a danger, depriving them of independence would guarantee the Council's continuous control. Any indication of resistance would encounter tremendous force, as the Council had consistently triumphed over innumerable species. This triumph had ingrained in them a deep-rooted conceit that made them believe this directive was only a formality. Earth would bow like everyone else. The message was transmitted throughout the galaxy. Humanity was to provide its resources or suffer the repercussions. The consequences were obvious. They would give up their future, their fleets, and their technical advancements, or face the Galactic Council's annihilation. It was a win-win scenario. Either humanity gave up without a struggle, or the Council would once again get to show off their might by destroying a species foolish enough to believe it could stand alone. But the Council's hubris was significant. They were unaware of the silent resolve brewing beneath the surface of Earth. They didn't know what it meant to confront the essence of humanity, a species that has not only endured innumerable hardships but has flourished in them. Earth's history was one of pushing back, of revolt, of resistance against insurmountable odds. But the Council only observed from afar. When the Terran Empire received the ultimatum, the leadership of a race the Council thought unprepared for war was not taken by surprise. Humanity had been anticipating this day for years. They had observed how the Council moved, noting that every species with the potential to upset the status quo had been confronted with demands and eventually violence. Earth's leaders had prepared not out of fear, but because surrender would mean the slow suffocation of all that humanity had built. They couldn't bow, not now, not ever. There was no panic in Earth's war halls, no distress, only a cool, collected silence. The top strategists of the Empire convened to evaluate the risks posed by the Galactic Council. Behind closed doors, they debated the possible consequences. To external observers, the Empire's reaction might have seemed indifferent, uncaring. But beneath the surface, plans were already underway. Humanity's massive military-industrial complex, prepared for years in secret, was quietly triggered. Orders were issued. Ships from every corner of Earth began to assemble. The Terran Emperor, a powerful, steely-willed man, addressed the people with a poise that made many shudder. He did not sugarcoat the situation. He spoke bluntly, and his words sent chills down the spines of all who listened. Recognizing the threat's magnitude, yet radiating an unshakable confidence, the Emperor declared, "Our adversaries expect every colony, every outpost, and every fleet to surrender. They think we will bow. They believe their armadas and weapons will make us cower. But we are not a species that cowers in terror. Our past is a testament to defiance. We will rise again. Our future is not theirs to claim." He paused, letting the silence emphasize his words. "We will not pay tribute. We will not surrender what we have fought for. Let the Council come. Let them witness what humanity is capable of." It was not the speech of a desperate leader. It was the calm response of a civilization that had fought and risen again and again. Humanity had no plan to retreat. As the Emperor's message reached every soldier and commander, the military tightened formation. Battle was inevitable, so they trained, they prepared. Spacecraft hidden in the shadows of Earth's vast industries surfaced. Capital ships, stealth fighters, and weapon systems the Council had never imagined were deployed. But the Terran Empire did not boast. Their planning remained covert. The Council, in their arrogance, assumed their warning would break humanity's will, at the very least spark a frantic plea for dialogue. But humanity's answer, it was silence. Deadly, purposeful silence. The very conceit that once assured the Council's dominance now led them to underestimate a force they couldn't comprehend. The Terran Empire mobilized. It fortified, it prepared. But the Council remained blind, still believing Earth would fold. Just like every other race, they had not accounted for the resolve of the Terran Empire. They had sent a message expecting submission, but what was coming was retaliation. While the Galactic Council postured in their halls of power, blissfully unaware, the storm was rising. For years, humanity had studied them, evaluated their tactics, prepared for this exact moment. In Earth-shadowed cities and secret shipyards, an armada was built not of desperation, but of intention. Its sole purpose, to confront the rulers of the galaxy. This armada was no fleet of hope. It was precision forged from centuries of war, technology that outmatched and outpaced the Council's best. It was the embodiment of human ingenuity. In the heart of the armada sat something more terrifying still, a weapon, a final measure, a world-ending system developed in silence, never meant for conquest but survival, a weapon capable of removing entire planets from the galaxy map. The Council had no idea it even existed, but if pushed too far, they would learn the true price of their arrogance. And yet humanity's strategy was not just firepower, it was intelligence, it was timing. It was understanding the one thing the Council had become vulnerable to, overconfidence. The Council had grown soft, relying on intimidation, not war. Earth saw this and planned to strike at their heart. Strategic targets were marked. Military infrastructure, energy networks, communications hubs. The goal was not chaos. It was collapse. A quick, brutal, and decisive war. Not of attrition, but of annihilation. And when it came, it would send a message to the entire galaxy. Humanity was done kneeling. They had watched, prepared, waited, and now they were ready to act. The fleet stood ready, calm, unshaken, focused. They weren't fighting for glory. They fought for their families, for their world, for their future. And far away in the luxury of their thrones, the Galactic Council remained unaware of the storm they had summoned. But that storm was almost here, and it had a name: humanity. The top levels of the Council's leadership were swiftly infected by terror they had never anticipated. Every report about humanity, a race they once considered little more than a trifling annoyance, told of terrifying force. Each dispatch made them more hopeless, whole fleets destroyed. Planets' key worlds were annihilated by defenses in a matter of seconds. It became clear they were up against an adversary far more powerful than they had ever imagined. Earth's forces exerted pressure. The momentum only increased. The elite squadron, formed from the most accomplished and seasoned troops in human history, spearheaded the advance deeper into enemy territory. With each succeeding strike, the Terran fleet forced the squadron's precision to dismantle the Council's infrastructure piece by piece. It was unparalleled. No goal was overlooked, no chance missed, and every world they targeted fell. The Council's hold on the galaxy loosened. It was impossible to ignore the devastation caused by Earth's new weaponry, unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a force of nature, able to eradicate entire civilizations in mere minutes. The Council had always believed their worlds were secure, their defenses strong. But as one world after another fell, a darker realization dawned. They were not just losing. They had lost control of the storm. A galaxy that had existed for millennia now stood on the edge of collapse, its leadership paralyzed by uncertainty and terror. Earth showed no signs of slowing down. The forces of the Terran Empire were unrelenting, indestructible. With every attack they gained momentum, pushing further into Council space. And with each system that fell, the Council's chances of survival dropped. They had been caught off guard. They had never imagined the scale of Earth's reprisal. Now they were frantically trying to preserve what little remained of their once great empire. When the outer defenses failed, the truth became evident. Even the core worlds, the heart of the Council, long thought untouchable, were in danger. The Terran fleet was closing in, and panic overtook the Council's leadership. They had never encountered anything like this before. They never thought they would lose, but now they were witnessing a force they could not stop tearing their empire apart. Worlds once written off as insignificant now sparked dread, spreading like wildfire. Desperation set in. There was no escape from what was coming. Humanity's power was undeniable. The Council's arrogance had caught up with them. They had believed themselves untouchable. They were wrong. The galaxy would never be the same. The unstoppable assault of Earth now targeted the center of the Council's power. The very worlds they once believed invincible would now suffer the same fate as those already conquered. As the Terran fleet approached and the Galactic Council's rule began to collapse, the truth was clear. Humanity could not be stopped. The Council's arrogance had brought them here, and now they would pay the ultimate price. Once the invincible seat of galactic rule, the core worlds now lay exposed before the Terran Empire.